you are required to do student teaching at different levels. And so I started at middle school. I did a student teaching stint in middle school. I loved it. Then I went to second grade. And while I loved those little kids, I just knew that it wasn't for me. And I give all the praise to elementary teachers who work so hard and are able to manage the little beings and get them engaged and involved and all of that. And then I went to high school, which I really didn't like because, you know, you'll find that I am a very short in stature woman. And at the time I was about 25. And so it just wasn't a good fit for me at that time. So then, knowing that I love middle school, I stayed here my whole career. I love the kids. I love where they are in their growth, both, you know, mentally, their education, their minds, the inquisitiveness, and how I think more importantly, how they're starting to define themselves as a person, and to have, you know, just a little bit of participation in that, advising, guiding, that to me is a gift. And I'm one of those few people who is fortunate to say that I love going to work every day. I've been in Round Rock now since 2005, where I started as an 8th grade English teacher at Canyon Vista Middle School. And after that, I went to Cedar Valley Middle School as an assistant principal for 5 years. And then I was blessed to be named principal of Hopewell, and I'm starting my 5th year here at Hopewell. And I feel like Hopewell and I were a match made in heaven. I love it here. I love the diversity of our students. We have here just a real sense of community, and like just through all this virtual things, you know, this virtual situation that we find ourselves in. Sometimes when you're on a campus, and I've been on a few different campuses now, but what I have found here, what we have built here, I will say, is a community that steps in to help whenever help is needed. We have had teachers step up to help their colleagues with Schoology, with technology in general, because I'm sure, as you can imagine, we have teachers here who are fresh out of college and their life is technology and they're very comfortable with it. And we have teachers who are more veteran teachers who learn the technology they need to know for the job, but never expected to be in this situation, having to become really a master of social, the social side of technology, and doing virtual instruction. And so that's just one example of how our faculty has come together to really support each other and to make sure that we're prepared for our students when they join us on Thursday. So let me go into a little bit now about how that's going to look and how that's going to work and who you can reach out to and all of that information. I know that you were given, the district sent out some information with regards to that this morning, and there was some question about the 12-digit parent code. What I have been able to find out is that 12-digit parent code is going to be sent to you by the teachers. So each teacher from each course, or no, that's not true, I lie, because what we'll probably do is we will have the advisory teachers send their advisory students' parents the 12-digit code. That will be easy. Then you won't be getting 8 different emails from 8 different teachers. So, but more information on that will come. But what I have found out is that those codes cannot be shared. Like we can't even see them in Schoology until the class goes live on Thursday. So understand that I'm going to keep working to see if I can find another way to access those codes. I'll talk to the district office, but if not, you will absolutely have them on Thursday. And what that access will give you is access to see the different classes online, to access anything that the teacher has posted online, and eventually when grades are inputted, you'll have access to that as well, to those grades. So know that I am working on that and getting that information for you. Let's go to, every year we change our theme based on kind of where we are. Our theme for this year is defining what is possible. And I came up with that theme because initially when we found ourselves in this situation way back in, must have been March, April, not sure where we were going and what direction we were heading, thinking we're going to have to do an online learning platform, there was a lot of, this is going to be impossible. This is going to be impossible. How do we're used to being with our kids in the classroom and interacting. How are we going to do that through a computer screen? Teachers are very personable people, and we enjoy that social interaction and relationship building with our students. So a lot of this is impossible. So then I was reading a book that talked about this when you're faced with obstacles. And people are saying this is impossible. What we are going to do here at Hopewell is define the possibilities. And so our theme for this year is defining what is possible. And I mean that in the most genuine and sincere way, because I think that we are going to take this opportunity and we're just going to blow the doors off of it. The first thing I thought of is feedback is going to look very different for students, because it's no longer is it only going to be some notes on the, handing it back to your student, some notes on the assignment that they've turned in, but we're going to be able to give feedback face to face. We're going to have a lot more genuine one-on-one interactions with the students through email or through the Schoology platform. I think that teachers are going to find that they're going to have less time dealing with classroom management and more time being able to really guide students on the work that they're doing. So that's just one area where I think that the possibilities are endless. The focus is for this year that both the staff and the students are going to be growing in. The staff really wanted to identify focuses for the year, goals for the year, that both the teachers and the students could grow in together. And so those 3 goals are a growth mindset, giving feedback and the importance of feedback, and then finally equity. So in the slideshow that I share with you, there's a short video for each of those that really kind of encapsulates what they mean. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them, but just very briefly, growth mindset is the idea that anybody can learn anything with the right amount of effort, in the right environment. And in the classroom, that's like a safe environment where students feel comfortable taking risks, and an adult who believes in them. And our students not only have their parents who believe in them and their family, but also their teachers. So we are going to be learning those 3 skills really together. So when you watch those videos of growth mindset, feedback, and equity, of course, is giving equal access to opportunities, to resources, and to having a seat at the table. So for every child to have their voice be heard. And that's what we'll be striving for with regard to equity. With growth mindset, we believe that everybody can learn given the right situation and the right supports. One word that you'll hear us say a lot around Hopewell is yet. When students say, I can't do it, teachers will say yet, because we just need a little bit more work. You need the right kind of feedback to target the area where you're confused, and then you'll get there. So it's just a matter of time before you reach success. So again, you'll hear those 3 things coming up throughout the year. I just want to make sure that you are aware of what those things are. Let's see. Okay, so next is our online platform, which is the most important thing probably for you at the moment. As you know by now, we are using Schoology. A new update, which is really nice, is that the district at the last board meeting, they made the decision to buy the full and complete suite of Schoology. So where teachers were going to have to do some kind of back and forth as far as meeting with the students, having to go to Google Meets and then back in for Schoology. Now all of that can be done within the Schoology platform. So that's very exciting for us, for the teachers to know that they don't have that added kind of piece of knowledge to learn, that back and forth, that everything's going to be able to be done within Schoology. Please understand that we have some teachers who were super proactive right from the get-go and were very interested in learning Schoology as soon as they knew that that was the platform that we were learning. And so when your students log into their sites, they might be really, to be quite honest, there might be too much information, but it might look very different than, say, a teacher who is just now just learning the basics to make sure that the students can access the content, that they can access the videos, that they can meet with their teacher, and that's where we're starting. And I've told the staff members that that is the goal right now, that we just want to be able to be in the room with the students, building relationships, answering questions, showing them where everything is within the platform so that they have a level of comfort. That's the main goal, is to make sure that the students feel like confident in how they can interact with the online platform. So really the first couple of weeks is probably going to be a lot of things going very slowly. And that's okay, because the rest of it we can catch up on. We know that we have some gaps from last year when we went to when we moved to online teaching, because at that point it was an absolute shock to us, and so we didn't have time to prepare, and the district, doing the best that they could, put together what you saw back in April, May. What we did in those lessons was more of a review that had been of skills that had been taught throughout the year. Well, now what we're doing is we're teaching new concepts. But what our teaching and learning department has done and shared with our teachers is they have been able to weave into the new lessons for this year any gaps that might have happened last year. So we are definitely going to do some assessments along the way to make sure that we're closing all those gaps that any students might have. And we'll be sure to cover all of the curriculum for this year. We've already planned on that, and teachers are having meetings all the time about how they can incorporate potentially missed skills into the new lessons that they're going to have this year. I want you to encourage your children to email their teachers when they're not feeling sure about something, because just watching some of our, like for example, Miss Sanchez, her son has already started online learning with Pflugerville, and what we're seeing with him, now granted he's younger, but what we're seeing is that students in his classroom are real tentative to speak up in this setting right now at the beginning. We anticipate that will change as they get more comfortable with it. But if your child is uncomfortable speaking up in the setting, then please encourage them to email their teachers, because the teachers will be checking emails and they will respond back to them. In addition to that, I want to go over kind of what the schedule for each classroom meeting will look like. For the most part, the first 30 minutes of each virtual class is going to be the instructional piece. So that now, you know, back when we were in school, that consisted of like a lecture, but Today, what that consists of is, yes, the teacher is going to teach a new concept or skill, but they'll also be calling on students, asking for clarification from students. The students are going to be engaged in that as well. And there is a function in Schoology to do small groups. So the teacher can even break out the kids into small groups and pop in and out of those small groups to assist the students as needed. For our students that receive special education services or ESL services, their support teachers will also be in the classrooms, in the virtual classrooms with them to give support in that way as well. So none of that is changing. They're still going to have access to those resources. So the first 30 minutes is that engaging instruction piece. And then the second, third, the classes are, they're an hour and a half long since we're going to the block schedule. And we do have a calendar that we're going to send out to you. And we need to make one more correction to it, but it will show the A day, B day schedule in the whole calendar for the year so that you'll always know which classes you have, and the students will know which classes they have each day. So the classes being first 30 minutes of instruction, second 30 minutes will either be a time for students to ask questions of the teacher, to get clarifications, or it will be time for students to work independently on their own on an assignment. But those are really going to be the three kind of sections of each class. Now, having said that, we also understand that there could be days where your child can't attend a class at the time that it is scheduled. So we believe that it's important for a student to be there for that class for a number of reasons, but most primarily to get the direct instruction from the teacher, but also for engagement, social engagement with their peers, because they will have time, breakout sessions to work together to help solve problems and all of that. And that's so very important to students. However, we understand that things can happen, that appointments might be set that can't be changed. And so teachers will be recording the lesson every day. Now, the teacher is not going to record every single period of every day, because say an 8th grade English teacher teaches 5 classes of 8th grade English every day, but it's the same lesson for each class. So that lesson that he or she teaches is going to be recorded and put on their Schoology page, so that if a student was absent for the scheduled class, the instructional piece, that they can still get credit and still get counted as present in attendance for that class that day. And the attendance is going to be taken 2 different ways. The first way, of course, is you're in the class and the teacher sees you and they were here for that day. The second day that you can get counted present for attendance is you can say there was a family situation and you had to be with your family all day and you haven't logged in. Well, you can come home and you can watch that lesson, see what the assignment is, and you can turn that assignment in by 11:59 p.m. that night to still get credit for attendance for that day. So there are 2 different ways to get attendance. Now, again, the assignments are going to be, these type of assignments for attendance purposes are going to be very short, simple assignments. It's not going to be something that's going to be a project that's due over a few weeks. It's going to be something like a ticket out the door, which is often students answer 3 questions about what was just taught. So they'll be short, what we call formative assessments, just so that the teacher can assess if the student understood what was taught that day. And that's the purpose of those assignments. So those will be short. They won't be long and involved assignments. They'll be very short and something that the student can easily do on their own. Okay, so we talked about the classes, we talked about attendance. For those of you who will be, if your child will be coming to school in person on September 10th, I'll be doing another webcast for those parents so that we can talk about what that's going to look like, what the students need with them when they come, what their day is going to look like, lunches, breakfast, all of that. So just be on the lookout for that to come out later. And again, that will only be for those parents who have indicated to us that they're going to be, that their child is going to attend in person on September 10th. And that is really the new stuff that I wanted to cover with you. So what I'm going to do now is go into the slideshow that I always do for all of our incoming 6th grade parents. Now, know that Ms. Sanchez is here with me and she's monitoring the chat. So if there was a question about that virtual learning that I didn't cover, that you need more information on, I will try to provide those for you with the time that we have left. If I run out of time to answer all the questions, then I should have your name in there where you put in your question, and I can send you an email and respond to you in that way. So again, if there's something that I'm not covering, please let me know what it is and whether I answer it here in the webcast or if I shoot you an email later. I do want to make sure that I answer all your questions. So this slideshow, I know that you can't see that, but I'm going to just talk through it, and then right after our meeting, I am going to send it to you in an email. Well, let me be honest. It'll probably be right around 1 o'clock, because right after this meeting, as you know, I have the 7th grade meeting, so I won't have time to get that done. But I will get it to you by 1 o'clock today so that you can go through it on your time. Click on, some of them have links where you can watch videos. Take your time with that. All right. So welcome to Hopewell. Now see, this is the part that I love, that I feel comfortable with, because I can talk all day about how great Hopewell is. And I think that it is a great place. My kids all went through Round Rock ISD. And if they're all in their 20s now, but I would have been very comfortable and proud of them to go through Hopewell with the environment that we've created here. Are we perfect? Nope. But it's very hard to reach perfection. And as you will see, if you watch that growth mindset video that's going to be in the slideshow, the goal is to keep getting better. And that's our goal, to keep getting better. I want Hopewell to be, you know, sometimes people laugh at me because I have such a positive outlook, but my goal is for Hopewell to be the most welcoming school in Round Rock ISD. I want our kids to look forward to coming to school every day. I want our parents to feel when they come on campus that they are welcome and that they're part of our community, because you absolutely are. And that's our goal. And our kids achieve well. Our teachers care about our kids. They work very hard to make sure that the kids feel safe, both socially, emotionally, and that they feel accomplished academically. And I'm just very proud of our school, and I'm happy to talk to anyone about how great it is. You are very fortunate to have the counseling and admin team of Stacy Sanchez and Margaret Schaefer. Ms. Sanchez is the 6th grade assistant principal for this year's 6th graders. And she has been at Hopewell now, I believe this is her 3rd year at Hopewell. And Ms. Schaefer has been here even longer, but Ms. Schaefer originally was an ESOL teacher here at Hopewell, and now she's the counselor. So on the slide deck that I share with you, you have all of their contact information, and they'll be happy to help you and answer any questions that you have for them. Our vision at Hopewell, and you will see it on the buzz every week. Every Sunday, I try to send out the buzz. Well, I don't try, I do send out the buzz. Sometimes I can get it out on Saturday, but I definitely get it out by Sunday. So this last weekend, I really worked hard to get it done by Saturday and get out to you, because Sunday was my birthday. And so I tried to take some time off on Sunday and spend it with my family. But right under the Buzz Hopewell Middle School, you will see reaching the hearts and minds of every child. And that is our philosophy here at Hopewell. We firmly believe, every teacher in the building, every staff member firmly believes that if the kids need to feel that you care about them and you like them before they will ever do anything for you or feel comfortable in your classroom. And so we have gone to great lengths to become really good at building relationships with our students. We practice capturing kids' heart strategies here at Hopewell, one of 2 middle schools in the district. We also practice restorative practices to restore relationships if they've been harmed. It's not surprising for the assistant principal or the counselor to have a restorative meeting with a student and a teacher. If there was some type of conflict between them, a misunderstanding, anything, we don't want that to linger through the whole year. We want that to be resolved and for the relationship to be restored and for them to be able to move forward and have a good year together. So we really do have a big focus on relationships and building relationships, because that's what's going to make students feel safe so that they can learn. The brain is either in a safe mode or it's in the fight and flight mode. And we know that from studies. So we try to create an environment here where students feel safe, that they don't feel in danger of any kind, that they know that the staff members are here to support and help them. And then that allows their brain to be open to learning. And that's the setting that we have here at Hopewell. Okay, the mission statement is on there, but I'm gonna let you read that because it's kind of long. Then you'll see our focuses for the year, which I already spoke of, which are growth mindset, feedback, and equity. But each one of those, you can click on it for a very short video that will describe what each of those are. So I encourage you to do that. Oh, some of the positive things that we have here at the Hive, I talked about capturing kids' hearts. Every year we have, we welcome in, Kindness Matters. The Kindness Matters has a close connection with Hopewell because the woman who really manages that whole thing, who created Kindness Matters, her son was a student at Hopewell at one time. And so every year we have presentations for each of the grade levels that really focus on being kind to each other and how words can hurt. And she has a gift in presenting that material to our middle school age group students, and being able to instill a sense of empathy in them. And we've always gotten really positive feedback from our students about those particular presentations. And so that's something that our PTA is gracious enough to provide for us every year. We also have academic teams here for 6th grade. We have them for 7th grade as well. However, you'll find when your child goes to 8th grade that with the advanced courses, it's very difficult to have a pure academic team. But in 6th grade, your child will have an academic team. They'll be on an academic team. What that means is that your child is on a team of teachers, core teachers, English, math, social studies, and history. And the group of students that they travel with throughout the day, they all share those same core teachers. Now, what's good about that and why it is important at middle school is because it really creates a school within a school for the 6th graders who are transitioning up from elementary school. This team also, they have a common planning period, which allows them to have parent meetings when all of the teachers can be there to meet with you, the parent, during that planning period. So it's a nice little transitional piece to move the 6th graders into middle school that I think is really the most appropriate for our 6th graders. We do practice the growth mindset. I've already talked about that a lot, so I'm not going to talk about that again, but I do encourage you to watch the video. The basic premise of the growth mindset is that, you know, the example I use is I used to always say growing up, I'm not a math person. And it wasn't that I wasn't a math person. I just had to try harder to be good at math because it didn't come easily to me. So the growth mindset is having that understanding that it's not that I can't do that, it's that I've got to try a little bit harder to reach success. We do offer a lot of leadership opportunities for our students, as well as membership in clubs and athletics and fine arts and all of that. Studies show that students who are connected to their school through clubs and through extracurricular activities do better in social situations, do better academically. And so we try to provide as much of that as we can. Then as you go through the slideshow, you'll see a picture of our Hive leaders from last year. They actually present with me when we do this live. So they wanted to include in this PowerPoint a little bit about them. And so they added this in and they spoke to parents about what they do as Hive leaders. And that's an important resource for your children. And today, actually, your sixth graders are getting an invitation to the Hive Leaders website, where there's videos from students encouraging them, telling them what they can do to help them in a normal setting. The Hive Leaders usually visit the sixth grade lunches, and they kind of hook up with their mentee and check on them and make sure everything's going good. It's basically an opportunity for a sixth grader to have an eighth grade buddy, just to help them navigate the change to middle school. Hive Leaders also host the very first school dance, which is the sixth grade dance. And that's okay, I didn't, yeah, it's okay. So they do the first sixth grade dance, which is always really nice because then they can really model for the sixth graders how we behave at a dance, what we do at a dance, the opportunities that are there at the dance. So my Hive leaders keep telling me we're doing it. Whenever it is that we come back, we're doing that dance because we've got to do that dance. That's a big way for us to build relationships with these kids. You would be amazed at the maturity level that some of these Hive leaders have. I really do hope that you have the opportunity to interact with them at some point this year. So you'll see some slides about our Hive leaders. Next is the communication piece. There's multiple ways to receive information from Hopewell. I do my weekly buzz. There is a PTA bulletin that we send out every week. You can always look on our website. The teachers each have websites. Some of them have done a team website for the academic team that you're on. The team leader will send out the links to their website. The teams also do every 2 weeks, they will send out a bulletin for their parents. You will have access to Schoology, and when and if we're back in the building, you will have access to the Google Classrooms that we use primarily as well. And always feel free to email the teachers, myself, Ms. Sanchez, Ms. Schaefer, and we will get back to you. The district asks us to try to respond within 24 hours, but I think for the most part, we get back to you much sooner than that. And again, you can, same thing now. I mean, Schoology may even have, through your Schoology login, you may even be able to have a different way to access the teachers to ask questions and things like that. Then there's some information about like start days and start time, end time, first bell, that kind of thing. More information about the calendar. So some of the things that we're proud of here at Hopewell that we've implemented pretty recently really is we are now an AVID school. So we offer AVID classes to our 7th and 8th graders right now. think we would like to move that down to 6th grade. But what AVID is, if you don't know, is it is a program for students who want to go to college, but maybe don't have all the information that they need to be able to start that track to college. As you move into high school, AVID teachers help students to write their college applications, those types of things. So that's AVID, but again, that's something that will probably come at a later time for your kids. We're proud of our accelerated classes. We have quite a few high school credit courses. We recently moved to really increasing our numbers in our accelerated math classes, simply because some of the more competitive colleges out there are now looking for 5 years of high school credit, and traditionally in high school you have 4 years. And so if students start math in a 6th grade accelerated class, that makes it a guarantee that they'll have the 5 years of high school credit once they're applying to colleges. That's not to say that's the only way to do it. There's lots of different ways that high schools will be able to tell you about, as far as dual credit courses and taking summer courses and things like that, if that's something that you're interested in. But here at Hopewell, we have one of the highest numbers of participation in accelerated math courses in the district. So we're proud of that. We are also proud of our foreign language department. Currently, we're offering Spanish and French. And we hope to add more, but our students often will go to high school with up to 3 years credit in a foreign language, simply because they took the Apple test and they were able to, if you're a natural, like if you speak a language fluently, you can take the Apple test and you can receive credits to go towards your high school credits for foreign language. And we really promote that here so that you can move through those and have high school credits before you even get to high school. The grading policy for 6th grade, really for everyone during this online learning, except for high school credit courses and some elective courses, is 50% what we call formative assessments, which is the daily work, homework, that kind of thing. 50% for assessments, like tests, quizzes, those kinds of things. I am going to, Ms. Sanchez, do we have some questions coming in?
I gave you one in the chat. That's everyone else.
Okay. Awesome. So let me see what's in the chat here and see if there's more information on the slideshow, but you guys can go through that. So I want to make sure that I answer questions that I may not have thought of. Okay. All right, so can you explain how advisory and lunch work in a virtual setting? So yes, advisory is actually during the virtual learning, it's going to be a class. So that's going to be, our advisory classes will be an actual period. So an hour, it'll be 90 minutes long, just like every other class. During virtual, everyone is going to follow the 6th grade lunch schedule, which I believe is everyone goes to lunch at 11:40. So like at 11:40, everything will stop. We'll have a half hour for lunch for everybody, and then we'll get back on track. So really, and I'm going to send this out later with a few other updates, which you'll need to have more in writing. Like, for example, the district sent out all those directions this morning, but it's kind of, it goes back and forth between student, parent. I really want to kind of clean that up so that it's a little bit easier to read. So this schedule is going to be included in that email that I send out to you tomorrow. But just so you know, we are going to be following the 6th grade schedule during virtual learning. As far as the advisory class, couple of things that's going to be used for. First and foremost is going to be building community, building relationships. So teachers are going to be doing our 2nd step lessons within that class period, but they're also going to be bringing in other icebreaker activities. And then as students become more comfortable with each other, you know, building a community is about sharing a little piece of yourself. It can be your favorite food. It can be your favorite book. It can be your favorite TV show and why. And that's all building community is about, is sharing things so that we can see that we all have similarities that we can all relate to in the same way. And so as we move on and the kids get more comfortable with each other, then they'll be doing those types of activities. Really just to get to know each other and to spark conversation and to get the kids building the community. So that's going to be happening during that time. But of course, we also want the students to be able to have that time to work on assignments and to reach out for help to any of their teachers. And so teachers will have some time set aside during that advisory period for second step and community building activities, but then a portion of that time will be reserved for, we're calling teacher office hours, where students can pop in to ask questions and the teacher will be there to answer them. So that's what that advisory period is going to be used for. Let's see if there's any other questions. So meet the teacher night. We are going to have an open house. I'm not sure, it's scheduled for late September. So there will be an open house, and then of course you can, you'll be able to meet the teacher then, but know that you can always reach out to the teacher if you have any concerns or anything like that. If you want a parent meeting, you can schedule a parent meeting with your academic team, and they can meet you in Schoology or in a Zoom Hangout or in a Google Meet. So if you sense that your child is struggling, I encourage you to reach out to the academic teachers, reach out to the assistant principal or counselor, reach out to me. Whoever you think is best suited to help, then reach out to them. And if you reach out to me, then I'm going to find out the best person for you and get you in touch with that person. And I don't know if you recently saw, which is super cool, is that the board just approved to have a social worker at every high school and middle school in the district, which is huge, huge for all of our students for different reasons. And it's something that has been, research has shown that schools that have social workers, that discipline decreases and assignments to alternative schools decreases, because we're being able to help those students right there in the moment. And middle school is the most confusing and a time in their lives when they grow so much, but as we all know, growth sometimes hurts. And I think that is, that's what's difficult for the kids, but with a social worker here to help them and guide them, then that's going to make a big difference for them. Can you explain how period 4 advisory, went over that a little bit already. So everyone will go to lunch at the same time that, and I don't have it right in front of me, I apologize, but everyone will follow that 6th grade schedule. So that's how that'll all work. Okay. Backpack policy, I'm gonna wait and include that in tomorrow's email, because here's the thought. The reason why we went to no backpacks or string backpacks is, again, okay, let me do normal setting and then the hybrid setting. So in a normal setting, all 6th graders are assigned lockers, and they're given times throughout the day to visit their lockers so that they're not late to any classes and that kind of thing. So every 6th grader is issued a locker, and the 6th grade teachers require them to use that locker for their backpack, because otherwise they come in and they've got stuff everywhere and it's just a distraction. 7th and 8th grade, when they move up, they can request a locker, but they are allowed to carry their backpacks around with them to classes, any kind of backpack. Now, during the hybrid model, when we have some of our students coming back, we've had discussions about wanting to keep it as safe as possible and keep germs to a minimum and all of that. And so that's why we initially said no big backpacks, because I just feel like there's no need for a big backpack, because when they come, all they're going to need is their device, something to write on, and something to write with, and maybe their lunch and a water bottle, and that's it. So I just don't think that there's a need for a big backpack, and we thought that the string backs would just be easier in keeping the kid all together. But I still want to have that conversation a little more with the teachers before I give a final on that, because I have had some parents ask about bringing a big backpack. I'm going to share this slideshow with you. My 7th grade meeting starts in a little bit, but I have 10 minutes. So I think I am going to be able to share that with you right now. So look for that in your email. Sorry I wasn't able to project it, but we're still learning Zoom, and we don't have it down pat yet, but I'm glad I got this figured out so that you can at least see me and know who your principal is. And I really can't wait to meet all of you in person, and I look forward to that day when it comes. So thank you so much for joining us today, and be looking for that email with the slideshow, and reach out if you have any questions. And welcome, welcome, welcome to Hopewell. You've landed in a great place. And I think that you're going to really, really enjoy your child being here with us for the next 3 years. Thank you all.